Welcome back, class. I'm going to go over how to solve your 2.2 Explain 2 textbook problems. These are problems very similar to your worksheet. Let's start with this problem here. Javier and Nathan both collect Pokemon cards. Javier has 28 cards and Nathan has 40 cards. The boys recently joined different Pokemon collecting clubs. Javier's club will send him 6 new cards per month. Nathan's club will send him 4 new cards per month. After how many months will Javier and Nathan have the same number of stamps? How many stamps will they each have? Now, for the purpose of this assignment while I'm gone, I only want you to answer the question in white. After how many months will Javier and Nathan have the same number of stamps? We always want to define our variable first. What are we solving for? Well, we're solving for the number of months. So I know that I'm going to use M and to represent the number of months. Since we're talking about two different clubs, we know that we want to have two expressions, one to represent Javier's club and another to represent Nathan's club. So let's start with Javier. I'm just going to abbreviate and say JC, and that represents Javier's club. So Javier's club, he starts with 28 cards, and he's going to receive 6 new cards per month. So I know my expression has to have a 28 and a 6, and I know that they're going to be added together because he starts with 28 cards and he's going to add 6 new cards per month. But since I don't know how many months, I can use M to represent the months. I also know that he's getting 6 cards per month. That means he's getting plus 6 in one month, another plus 6 in another month, and another plus 6. And we know the fastest way of doing that is to multiply. So my variable must go next to the 6. And that's how we figure out Javier's expression. Now let's look at Nathan. What do we know about him? Nathan has 40 cards, and his club will send him 4 new cards per month. So I'm going to use NC, and I'm just abbreviating that that's Nathan's club. Nathan's club started with 40 cards, and he's going to get an additional 4 cards each month. And I know that the M is going to go next to the 4 because it's going to be plus 4, plus 4, plus 4 for each month. So now we're going to go back and look at the question. It says, after how many months will Javier and Nathan have the same number of stamps? Notice that I underlined same with 2 lines to show you that if we want it to be the same, the operation we're going to use, or not operation, but symbol we're going to use is equal. So we're going to take Javier's expression, 28 plus 6 times the number of months, and make it equal to Nathan's expression because we want to know when both of these will be the same. And that's why we put an equal sign next to them, or between them actually. And we're going to solve the equation like we normally do. We draw a line through our equal sign. We look at our left side. I notice that there's 28 plus 6m, and they're both integers and variables on that side. I also see on my right side 40 plus 4m, and notice that those are also variables and integers. So I'm just going to label my sides. I'm going to make this side variable and this side integers. So I'm going to take a look and notice that the 28 doesn't belong. So I'm going to subtract 28 on this side. And I'm going to subtract 28 on the other side. Notice that the positive 28 and the negative 28 make a 0. And then I have 40 minus 28, which is going to give me 12. And then I look on my right side and I notice that the 4m doesn't belong there. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of 4m by subtracting 4m from one side and subtracting 4m from the other. Positive 4m and negative 4m make a 0. And I notice that 6m minus 4m is going to give me 2m's. And then my last step is just to divide by 2, and m equals 6. Well, what does that m represent? Well, that m represents the number of months. And since we made it equal to each other, it's the number of months where they will both have the same number of stamps. As always, we want to write our answer in a sentence. So we're going to say that Javier and Nathan will have the same number of stamps at 6 months. And that's it. Now let's try another problem. Coach Z plans to make a down payment plus monthly payments to buy a motorcycle. At one dealership, he would pay $1,250 down and $75 each month. At another dealer, he would pay $1,500 down and $62.50 each month. After how many months would the total amount paid be the same for both dealers? What would that amount be? Again, for this problem, I only want you to answer the question in white. After how many months would the total amount be paid the same for both dealers? So keeping in mind that we're looking for the number of months, so we're going to use M to represent the number of months. And although we're only talking about one person this time, Coach C has two options. He has one dealership that would pay him, or that he would pay $1,250 plus an additional $75 each month. So I'm going to write an expression to represent that. So for dealership 1, I'm just going to abbreviate and say dealership 1. He is going to give them $1,250 first, and he's going to give them $75 each month. And I know that each month it's going to be plus 75, plus 75, plus 75. Therefore, the M has to be multiplied by the 75. And then I'm going to look at the second dealership here. The second dealership, he's going to pay $1,500 plus $62.50 each month. So for dealership 2, he's going to pay $1,500 plus $62.50 per month. And I know that it's plus $62.50 plus $62.50 and so on. So therefore, we're going to multiply that by the number of months. Again, I'm going to go back and look at my question. It says, after how many months would the total amount paid be the same for both dealerships? And notice that it's the same, so I know I'm going to take dealership 1 expression and make it equal dealership 2 expression. So we're going to start with 1,250 plus 75 times the number of months and make it equal to dealership 2, which is 1,500 plus 6250 times the number of months. Now we solve equations like we normally do by drawing a line through our equal sign. On my left side, I notice that there are integers and variables. On my right side, I also notice there are integers and variables. So I'm going to go ahead and label this side variables and this side integers, because we know it doesn't matter when there are integers and variables on both sides. So I'm going to start with getting rid of 1,250 by subtracting 1,250. And I subtract from that side, which makes this a 0. I subtract 1,250 from this side. Now I'm going to take 1,500 minus 1,250, and I'm left with 250 here. And then I'm going to look and take my next step, and I notice that I'm looking at the integer sides, and I do not want 6250 m there, so I'm going to get rid of it by subtracting 62.5 m. If I do that to the other side, I'm going to do it. If I do it to one side, I have to do it to the other side as well. And I take 75 minus 6250, which gives me 1250x. Now, don't let that decimal point throw you off. It's still the same steps. We're going to divide both sides by 12.5, which is the same as 1250. And x is going to equal, m. M is going to equal 20. Now let's remember what that means. M is the number of months, 20, and we set them equal to each other. So we know that at 20 months, the amount he pays to each dealer would be the same. Now let's write that in a sentence. In 20 months, Coach Z would have paid the same amount to each dealership. And that's it. If you're struggling with writing the sentence, don't worry about it. Just make sure that you have your expressions written down and your equation. I can always come back and help you with that. All right, good luck. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.